Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at NECA's Ultimate Predator Jungle Hunter figure, which is backwards. It's the Jungle Hunter Predator. It's the Predator from the first movie. Predator is the name of the movie, and it's a pretty cool figure. It's one of the figures that you're probably going to want to have if you're a Predator fan because it's the Predator from the first movie, and they did a pretty good job with it. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 21 centimeters tall, which makes him just about 8¼ inches. So he does have a little bit of size. He's not one of the bulkier figures that we've ever seen from NECA, from the Predator line, but it's appropriate for the character, and they nailed it as usual. We do have some drawbacks, and we'll mention those as we go, but as you can see, he's loaded with sculpt and paint, and it's a lot of unique stuff going on, a lot of unique sculpt, so that's always a good thing. And the paint is just as crispy as ever, except for one issue, which we will get to as we get into a little bit more detail. But you can see most of the paint, whether it's the mesh and the skin underneath or just the shading in the armor, it's all very, very nicely done. It looks fantastic. There's no question that the paint on this guy is great. There's actually kind of a second issue also, and I'll just mention that right now. This part, his loincloth thing, in terms of the paint, sometimes the way, depending on how the light hits it, it looks like it's translucent because of how they did the shading. It's not translucent at all. It's completely opaque plastic, but something about the way it's shaded makes it look translucent, and it gives it kind of a weird effect. But otherwise, it looks pretty good. Okay, so before we get into the figure anymore, let's talk accessories. We do have his backpack, which you'll probably end up leaving on him all the time, but it is included, and it doesn't have any sliding mechanism. It just has a hinge and a ball peg for the blaster. And he does come with a blast effect, which pegs into the front of that, and it's nicely done. It's a nice translucent plastic with some blue shading and some white at the front, so that's pretty cool. We have the interchangeable head, so we have the masked head and the unmasked head, which looks very nice. Lots of nice details there. We do have the removed mask. It does not connect to the unmasked head. It's just for posing purposes, so you can recreate the scene from the movie, and it's nicely done. We do have some interchangeable hands. We have the one fist hand and one gripping hand, and then we have the two completely open hands. And then lastly, we have a skull, and then a skull with a spinal column connected to it, or the vertebrae connected to it. And they're all very, very nicely done. Everything looks good on this guy, so I'm very, very happy about that. If you want to count them as accessories, we do have a couple of necklaces and whatever you want to call these ones that are longer. We have one with some small skulls on it, and then one with a lot of vertebrae on it. And then we have the one that goes around his neck, which has just kind of like smaller bones. And they are all on actual rope, and they can come off if you want them to, but I wouldn't really count them as accessories because they come on them in the package, and you probably want to leave them on. Okay, so other features before we get into the nitty-gritty, we do have the extending claws on the right side, or blades. Now mine were really pinched up in the package, and it didn't look like it was actual warping, so I just kind of pulled on it. Now do this very carefully and at your own risk. I kind of bent this one back to make it work nicely, and so now it has a lot less of a pinch going on. So it's fine. No problems there. Yours may not even have that issue, but I have to mention it. And then on this side, we do have the little computer arm, computer wrist, computer detonator thing with the painted icons in there. So that's very nice. It looks great. Anytime they're not painted, I'm a little bit bummed out because it looks so nice when they are painted. And the hinge is good. I don't think we're going to have any issues with the hinge. At least I haven't so far. Okay, so the other issue that I wanted to mention with this guy is that these carbon scoring marks, or whatever you want to call them, battle damage marks, they look really bad. There's no shading to them at all, so they just look like nipple tattoos or belly button tattoos or some kind of weird marking, and I'm guessing that's not what they're supposed to look like. It really detracts a lot from the figure, to be completely honest. They just stand out so much as this really particular type of pattern. And then even down here, when we have slightly different ones that aren't the same kind of like ring shape, they still just don't look great. They look very strange. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe it's just I don't know, maybe I got a bad one and the factory just happened to do not a great job painting it, but they just don't look good. There's another one on his back there, and I don't know, maybe it's me. They don't look good to me. If you think they look good, then that's up to you, but for me they look very strange. But aside from that, the paint job is nice. You can see they painted the little red things on the helmet here, and then we already talked about the rest of it, so that's good. The head does have a straight peg going into the head and then a ball peg in the neck, so it can lean some. It can lean up and down a little bit also. And then you have the rotation. He does have shorter dreads, so they don't get in the way quite as much, but his backpack, even though it's farther off to the side than most backpacks that we see, it's still going to limit the head rotation to a degree, so be aware of that. But I mean, you should be able to get it posed well enough. It shouldn't be that much of an issue. Now, his shoulders are your standard ball hinge shoulder. They'll swivel in the torso, and then you have your bicep swivel connected to that. This shoulder pad is connected right to the shoulder, so you can just raise the arm up. Unfortunately, the way it's designed, it doesn't really give you that much range. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not great. It doesn't even go horizontal, but you can probably get him in a decent enough pose as it is. Now, this side, it's a lot like the Ghost Predator, where the shoulder pad is actually connected to the arm, which is great. It doesn't impede the articulation, but we have this, which would be much better if the shoulder pad was connected to the torso, because when you move him, that is going to stretch and stress and possibly tear. And similarly, we have this one right here, which means as soon as you bend this elbow, you're going to be limited to right about there. If you go any further, you do risk breaking it. You can see it's kind of going to go over the elbow to prevent the breakage, but it could happen. So be very careful with that. They are nice and flexible, and it looks good. Just be aware that this side is going to be pretty limited in the arm department. Double jointed elbows do work very nicely on these guys, though. They have fairly thin arms, so no problems at all there. You do have the swivel on both sides at the gauntlet, and then of course the wrists are on ball pegs, so they have pretty good range. This side in particular, the wrist peg works very nicely. You get pretty good range out of it, so I'm very happy about that. Now his torso, which is a double ball peg up here, I've been told it's a double. I've never taken it apart to check. It might be a single, but he gets pretty good range. Not so much forward and back, but not bad. But he has full rotation, and he leans pretty well to the side also. So I'm pretty happy about that. It's not, I guess I shouldn't say it's really good, but it's better than a lot of the Predator figures, so I'm pretty pleased with it. And then the lower torso rotates, and it does have a little bit of leaning to do, so that's good. Now the hips, we have our standard ball hinge hips, but his loincloth thing is all sculpted, so this isn't floating or that soft. So you can go out to the side kind of far, which is fine. These are soft pieces, so they won't get in the way. But going forward is very limited due to the way they sculpted the loincloth. So no forward, no back, really. It's very, very limited. You do have your thigh swivels in there, so that's a good thing. One interesting thing I noted is that the hinges in there on my hips are different colors. I'm curious if any of you have that same issue. It's not a problem because I'm not going to be looking at his crotch very often and you can't see it from the front, but I just found it kind of curious. So for the knees, we have a slightly different design than normal. It's just your standard double jointed knee. There's no swivel in there, which I'm personally fine with. You don't really need that swivel, and the double jointed thing works just fine, so that's good. And then lastly, we have our ball peg ankles, which they're not bad. They're some of the better examples. You get decent range out of them, but they're still ball peg ankles, so they are fairly limited. But ultimately, I'm very happy with this guy, no pun intended. He's not perfect by any means, but he's still really, really good. And I think if I could live with the hip issue, and the only thing I can't really live with is those tribal belly button tattoos that are supposed to be, I'm guessing, carbon scoring of some kind. So I don't know. Otherwise, it's really good. So I think it's probably still worth getting. And if you wanted to, it wouldn't be that hard to probably take those off, but do that at your own risk. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. I definitely recommend it. It should be available at Big Bad Toy Store. So if you're interested, check that link in the description below. I do recommend it. Just be aware of those issues. It's still a really solid looking Predator, and it is the iconic Predator. So I'm very happy to have it. Thanks again, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new videos up every single day. We talk about action figures, movies, TV shows, video games, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure you come back for that. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. And in the meantime, keep collecting.